So, was there anything else specifically that people wanted to do in town?
Not particularly.
Yeah, Marthow is just feeling a little impatient to get to the citadel.
All right.
I would like to make sure.
I wanted to ask how much the snazzy goggles people in this town wear cost.
Well, you know, most towns are do not have the same kind of income as adventurers have. So it's only like probably like 5 silver pieces or something.
Oh, I'll buy like a boy's size large.
All right.
I would like to make sure that we get word to shoot. What's our manservant's name? Charles. I would like to make sure we get word to Charles that he has to procure one of these cows that produces chocolate milk. Make sure that is done before we leave.
All right, so you're stopping at the House Civis post office.
Yes.
I think we would be better off getting a cow that creates stone piss.
I just glare at you, like incredulous that you would even say that.
You cannot fault a man for what he enjoys, whether it be yellow or brown.
All right, and with that, it's the next morning. The carriage comes by the dwelling that you have chosen for the evening to take you in the most grandiose, outlandish fashion that Winfrey the Lyrander could rummage up in a short amount of time. And given his style, it really is just, you know, a rickety carriage that he could find with the first horse that he could find, which is not really looking all that healthy, but he has managed to purchase the services of a couple of mage rights to whip up a couple of, I guess you could call them sparklers, that are kind of placed at various points around the carriage to spark with rainbow-colored lights with each step that the horse takes, as a way of kind of drawing attention. And once your adventurers have been seated in the car, with Brevin glaring at you guys for this agreement that you've made in such a garish manner, and Winfrey shouting to, as far as his lungs can carry, hey y'all, looky here. This here owner of an airboat, newest latest innovation by House de Lyrander, is taking away these humble heroes that saved those people from the train and fought off a warforged dreadnought. Not just a warforged titan, a full-fledged warforged dreadnought with such demeanor and class that they could best it with their bare hands.
I tried casting Mage Hand, and to put a hand over his mouth.
So he feels it and he's like, ooh, getting some bugs in my mouth. But that is not uncommon when you fly in an airboat. So please be prepared for that. And he just goes on and on in that manner, which is a whole 50 feet, since you guys are pretty much right across the street from the airboat. But he does pay the carriage to circle around the block one time to maximize the effect of the attention he's trying to draw. And so it does gather a meager crowd, and people are, some people are cheering, others are kind of booing as they are distrustful of the new technologies that seem to be coming about, especially those who have vested interest in land-based cargo transportation. And you board the airboat, which is named the Lily Rabbit. And of course, based on its name, it does have etched in the sorewood hull, in the molding surrounding the vessel, are Ives of Lily. Some of them are actually real in places where the hull has been fitted with live wood, where actual wood and leaves still seem to grow. And at the front of the vessel, where you might picture a mermaid or whatever normally at the front, there is a rabbit.
You know, you may want to have names of things that fly in the names of your flying boats. Look, mermaids on the front of boats, they're there because mermaids live in the water. So,
well, here, that's not such a bad idea. Now, I was kind of going for the fact that this is new, and with new, we try different, and so people would not expect a rabbit wrapped in lily. They'd expect a bird, of course, but I thought, nah, let's keep them guessing. Who knows what the next innovation's gonna be?
right, but it could have been something cool like the falcon. And then falcon hanging up the front.
Huh.
Could have had feathers down the side like on the wings of a falcon. Never mind.
No, little man, you got to keep on talking. I'm gonna have to pick your mind sometime during this here trip. It seems he's developed a little bit of stutter.
I tell you what.
I'll tell you what. God damn it, Popper. Excuse me. When will lunch be served?
Lunch will be here right around noon. We have our mess cook prepare us some fine old slop. Don't let the name get you. It looks like slop. It doesn't taste so much like it. It tastes more like gruel, but it's filling and edible, and most importantly, transports easy on an air vessel.
Well, when is dinner served?
That'll be sometime around probably about twilight. We don't keep time too regular like on these vessels, but we go by where the sun seems to be. And so right around the sun going down is the time that dinner will be served.
Fancy. I half expected you to say you just fill a trough with that gruel and then eat whenever you're hungry.
Well, hey, that's not such a bad idea. Maybe for more of these commercial type vessels, we'll do that.
I should get a fee for all this consulting work I'm doing.
Well, little man, we might have to consider that. Might have to add you on the payroll with all the nice, fancy, schmangled ideas you keep on plucking my brain.
I'll let you know. I am used to the finest accommodations, and I already appear disappointed by the choice of meals. So I sure hope that this slop / gruel, is better than you describe it.
Well, those are simply the accommodations that we happen to be offering at this time. We are looking to expand our repertoire once we get things more cemented with our business model. But of course, in the meantime, I can certainly parade you down to the mess hall of your choice. You can get whatever meal you can scrounge up and bring it aboard. Yes, you can.
We really must be off sooner. But since Eivar has provided you a host of great ideas, my idea would be to have a first class manservants for every passenger.
That may cut into our bottom line, but certainly worth considering, I suppose.
We should take off soon so that you can buzz the train station and everyone can see your airship. Maybe
oh, yes, sir. That's the plan.
Bring it in real low so people think you're going to crash, and then the sudden thrilling moment when you don't.
So you're getting it. Keep the people guessing. Is it going to crash? Is it not going to crash? Whoa. Well, they'll find out.
Run in terror out of the train station and then pull away.
All right. So you guys board the ship and embark with the exact same fanfare that you would expect from the person that paraded you around in the fashion that he did. So you make your way. Your first stop is Atur, which is requested by Kolmar because he feels that the angel-faced creature is quite a force to be reckoned with, and so he has decided to seek out some resources and potentially improving his skills in his profession of choice to better aid you when the time comes to actually face the angel-faced creature. And so as you guys stop and answer, you see that the city is everything you would expect from something that is nicknamed the City of Dead. There are places where shadows linger even when the sun seems to be beating down on it. Many strategically placed awnings to maximize shade, as well as supernaturally or magically enforced areas of shadow, where as you approach the town, you notice that it definitely has a smell to it, a slight aroma of death and decay, as well as the irony taste and smell of dried blood. And so it definitely creates this sense of the hairs on the back of your neck tingling as you approach this city. And so as you come down, descending from your height, to allow Kolmar to disembark from the vessel, you see things hiding in the shadows that you only sort of see at the edge of your vision. And the minute that you try to focus on them, they seem to dart away. And in a way that makes you question if they were even there to begin with. But it happens with such frequency that you can't help but believe that there are things there just outside of the edge of your vision. And so Kolmar disembarks, and he says his farewells to everybody, and we'll keep in touch with you guys in some fashion. And as he leaves, there are suddenly audible plinks, like like irregularly dispersed sounds of like something pounding into the hull. And if you look over the edge of the side of the ship, you notice a bunch of what looks to be teenagers throwing rocks and sticks at the ship. Winfrey says, "Now here, don't you all worry. The hull is reinforced to withstand all that. People, especially around these parts, they seem to not really understand the mechanisms of with which we are employing, and they take great pleasure in trying to hit our vehicle with whatever they can throw when we get in range. It is a circumstance I've come to accept, but I'm hoping in time people come to respect these airboats a little bit more."
Do you often make stops at the City of the Dead then?
What's that?
Do you often make stops at the City of the Dead then?
Now, I can't say I ever been to the city of Atur. This is my first time being here, although this is a pretty common thing that is done in any kind of city that I might disembark from or otherwise land my anchor, so to speak. It really is just a minor nuisance, as all teenagers being teenagers and whatnot, not really knowing what they do or thinking of consequences of their actions.
Did you get your ship pounded with stones in voyage?
I can't rightly remember, although I must say right after disembarking from this here vessel, I went to that here pub and I made myself a grand old time, and I can't really remember much of that night or the earlier day.
Interesting. I expect that sort of behavior out of these ruffians in this here town, but I thought in Voyar perhaps that there were people seemed to live a bit more couth.
Well, it's different towns have different sort of styles. The bigger towns tend to have the most ruffians, I suppose, but those towns that are a bit smaller have a bit more reverence, especially for the powers that be that allow a vessel such as this to lift into the air. Yes, they do.
Mm.
And so you notice that a couple of the rocks and sticks actually make it over the edge of the railing and onto the floor of the ship at your feet. Everyone give me a perception check.
13.
I also have 13.
6.
So both Eivar and Marthow see something out of the corner of their eye, but before they can draw their attention to it, Elmorn lets out a sudden "fuck" as one of the ruffians actually manages to hit him in the head with one of these rocks.
Do I know who hit me? Can I mark them for death later?
You don't know exactly who, but there's a group of youths just below the ship, and especially after having been hit by one and looking to see the details of these ruffians, you notice they all seem to be in their early teens, but they are also dressed in very strange attire. They are definitely wearing all black with lots of belts and sorts of leather and things like that, and their faces are painted. A couple of them are painted just pure white. Others look like they've painted skulls onto their faces or are wearing makeup that makes their eyes look sunken, and you can tell that it's makeup just because of how badly that they've applied it. But for those amongst you who are more cosmopolitan in your experiences, you do recognize that it is a kind of a cultural appropriation and bastardization of the traditional dress of the elves from Aranel, who typically worship the dead in some sense. But these are not elves.
I'm going to yell down to the crowd, "You look like mimes!"
They say, "Hey, who's that little kid? 5 silver, the one that can belt him in the face. Oh, I'll take that." And they start throwing things a little bit harder in your direction.
Come,
Of course, none of them even come close.
Let us depart. These fools aren't worth our time. We have much bigger fish to fry.
All right, so once you disembark, you head over. You begin on your journey to Korth. You notice as it's already late in the day. The sun is starting to go down, and the chill winds of winter are really beginning to pick up strength. It is becoming a biting cold that cuts straight through your clothing and armor and seems to bite you right in the bones, with a chill that can only be described as Chicago winter. And it causes the mucus in your nose to freeze up and the deep breaths to really create sharp pains deep in your lungs. The kind of cold that almost feels like the cold chill of a grave. And the only solace from this harsh weather that begins descending forth is the area directly beneath the elemental ring that provides lift to the vessel. It's a large fire elemental that seems to be transitioning back and forth along the ring, and its power is giving off enough heat to make it bearable in that area, but anywhere else on the ship, on the outside, is just your teeth begin to chatter, and you have involuntary shivers beginning to take over the minute that you step away from there. The only solace from this biting wind is in your own rooms, which each of you has your own private room. Within there, the chill eases. I'm sorry?
I'm going to put on my weather sensing hat and see if there are any storms coming. My
weather
sensing hat.
What does it look like as it's detecting the weather?
Like I said, it can fit around any headgear, but I have it sort of set up around a hat. And it's got like a bunch of like little spinning gizmos on it. And like rods that come out that don't seem to do anything, but maybe you're detecting something.
So
like whirring noise as it goes.
So from whatever method that you this hat informs you of the upcoming weather, you are able to divine that a winter storm is definitely on. On the rise isn't the right word, but is brewing, and definitely in the direction that you guys are heading.
Were you trying to avoid saying winter is coming?
I try not to be so cliche, but winter is coming. So the winds definitely begin to pick up, and it begins, especially as it rushes around the flames of the elemental air vessel and the edges around the hull, and especially through the leaves of ivy that actually seem to ring the hull. There is definitely a sound like a whistle or a drone that kind of begins to permeate the air.
It's like a dim drone, or is it like loud?
Mm-hmm. No, it's not too loud. At times it does pick up and it does become a bit deafening, but more often than not, it's more of a constant sort of low drone.
And it sounds like it's coming from the ship or from the air.
From the air passing over the ship, because of the way that the winds are so constant and strengthening from the direction that you're heading.
I'm going to find the captain and say, there's a storm coming, so you may want to fly like low. Unless this thing is like stormproof or something, in which case I'll just go take a nap.
So Winfrey, in his most reassuring tone possible, says, "Oh, this here vessel's been tested for all sorts of weather. It can move right on through all of that. The rooms have been made to make you as comfortable as possible, but you know, this is one of our I wouldn't say it's our first road test, but it's close."
I'll tell you, this here ship is unsinkable. So I'm going to go find like a good positioning for when we crash.
So you're telling me that you are uncertain of your ability to safely pilot the ship to the Citadel, Hour the 12.
Why, not at all, sir. In fact, I'm saying quite the opposite. I'm saying that this here vessel has been tested and has been refurbished as needed to make sure it is up to whatever standard that needs to be passed in order to handle the elements as they see fit to deliver upon this here vessel. Of course,
I have a query for you. Where are the heated seats?
Well, now hear about that. We don't have the fancy dangled technology, magic, however you want to describe it, that you might find in some of those fancy Orion lightning rail ships. Those things have been around for quite some time, and so they have had a lot of time to make sure that they have the utmost in comforts and reassurances. But I assure you that these here airboats are going to be fitted with the finest accompaniments you can imagine. There will be at some point heated seats, heated rooms, air conditioning as need be see fit. But you know, in order to make these vessels fly, we also need to make sure that they're as light as possible, and so that means any extra weight we can get rid of is necessary to make sure that we have the buoyancy to take off and land as we need to see fit. So take that as you will.
I just kind of squint a little bit, and I don't say anything.
Make the brochure. Make sure that you have like a little footnote that says features not available on all airships, just to make sure you're covered legally.
My gosh, my gosh, Mr. I'm sorry, is it Eivar?
Yeah, Eivar.
Eivar, I need to strike up a deal with you of some sort, because we could definitely use some legal advice, and you have some ideas that I'd like to really introduce to our research and development department, and so we need to make that bona fide at some point, that agreement, and do that and make some money.
I look forward to it after we crash. There's like a mattress in our room. Something I can like wrap around myself.
Yeah. Each room has a chest to put your belongings, which is, it does have a lock and key, and the key is placed upon the top of the chest. And there is a mattress and bed. It's not the most comfortable, but it will do. Especially for those that are used to less than the priciest accommodations.
I just kind of sneer at everything, but I lay down.
There are a couple of rooms also that have what appear to be, instead of a mattress, a hammock, which also anybody that has one of those rooms, going in the hammock, and it really does, the motion of the boat in the air rocks the hammock in a way that is different than when you're traveling by road or by boat. And it's quite a soothing, gentle rocking motion. There are quite a few rooms, so you guys have your pick of the place. It looks like Winfrey has pretty much a skeleton crew working on the vessel. It really does seem that this is kind of a flight more so to draw attention to the abilities of an airship rather than to be ready to take passengers in any kind of regular sort of commercial situation.
Any of the crew of note?
Let's see what the story dice have to say. So one crew member is quite different from most other people that you've seen. He actually stands about 6.5 feet tall and seems to be just as wide, with very thickly scaled skin and jaws full of teeth that could easily rend the flesh from your bones. Those of you who are familiar with the area of Kubara, or from more metropolitan type situations, would recognize that it's a lizard man. And he does look like he is there as acting in the capacity of a guard. And then there's another individual who seems to be dressed pretty casually, with the exception of a bow strung up upon his back. And another individual that seems to have one of those like wine type birthmarks or whatever they're called, like splotched all over his face. It's not a dragon mark. It looks like it's just a regular kind of birthmark, but it covers his most of the left side of his face.
Gotcha.
Try to hang out as close to the fire elemental as possible.
All right, so as the night goes on, Elmorn, are you in your room?
Yes.
So while you're in your room, these rooms are unlike the finer amenities that you might find on, for an example, the lightning rail. The rooms are typically lit with various candles placed within the along the walls, and Elmorn, as you, I'm assuming you're lying down. As you're lying in your bed, you suddenly begin to hear something strange. You begin to hear this. You guys hear that?
Yep.
Yes.
Delightful child's laugh.
This is what Elmorn does. Do you guys know what that is?
No.
No, but it sounds perfect.
The hell no. Hell no.
Hell to the no.
Pretty much. That's yeah. Okay. Well, Elmorn was relaxed, but his eyes jolt. He kind of sits up and looks around. Like, where the hell's that coming from?
It stops for a moment, a couple moments. As you once you jerk up and start looking around, it seems to stop.
I scan the room.
So you see the room is pretty plain. Outside of the bed or hammock, you have the chest where you can put your belongings, and the pretty bare walls where the lights are flickering from the candle flame, causing the shadows to be long and flicker in the lights in the room, as well as leaving a slight odor of smoke and that constant drone of the wind on the hull still permeating in the background. There are no windows in your cabin, as windows would be too much of a structural liability at this point in the design process with these air vessels. So it really is a box with a door where you're staying. Not much room for anything to hide in.
I check under the bed.
So you check under the bed, and the lights seem to flicker on and off. And it just continues to be that droning whine outside of the room. But as you lift your head up,
Can I tell where does it seem to be originating from?
it honestly seems to the laugh at that point seem to be right in your ear, and those steps seem to be running away from you.
I turn towards where the ear that the noise was there, and obviously I don't find anything, but then if I still can't find anything in the room, I would open the door and stick my head out and look down, see if anyone's out there.
You open the door, and it opens into another room, identical to yours.
Hell no. Okay, I step into the identical room and look around.
And Elmore again.
It literally. Were you in a hammock room or a bed?
Bed.
All right. So the bed looks to be in the exact same way that yours was as you left it, where with the covers thrown off as if you had immediately thrown them to step out of the bed and look under it. And then you look back and you can tell that it's the same bed. Like it's identical.
Who's there?
Wait. You hear more feet stepping.
I close the door. I step into the identical room. I close the door behind me. I turn around and I open that door.
It's back into your room again.
I pinch myself to make sure I'm not dreaming.
It hurts. The ghost or whatever it is found it funny that you pinched yourself. In a moment, the lights of your room start to flicker and go out.
I use my divine sense. Is there a fiend, celestial, or undead in my presence?
You are getting the sense of undead. And as in a moment, your lights seem to flicker back on, and as they do, right in front of your face, you see this flash for just a moment.
It startles me, and I recoil, and then
hold on 1 second.
Go ahead. So, in my campaign, I don't know how to play the guitar, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how. I taught myself 2 chords like today. Because for my campaign, on Wednesday, they're gonna face a musical bandit, and so I wrote a song and I plan on performing it. And then, see, I gotta get these like chords down. But it should be fun.
Yeah, it sounds
Sounds
like it will be fun. I've never taught myself. I did play a bard, and I wrote probably like 4 or 5 dozen different songs and raps for this part. But I wasn't ambitious enough to try to teach myself anything on a musical instrument.
Yeah.
Me.
It's just it's like a bandit who plays music. It's not like El Kabong where he's going to be smacking people with a guitar.
Actually, I was planning on making his guitar like a weapon as well, like putting like a blade on this,
Right?
like a little fake blade, and being like he hits you with the guitar.
Like Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Yeah, it's been such a long time since I've seen that.
They think guitarists are guns.
Right, yeah.
You could easily have like a guitar crossbow.
Guitar crossbow. Dude, that'd be sick.
Sorry about that, guys. Lisa's leaving for work.
No problem.
No worries.
All right, so you saw the flash and then the child's laughter once more.
Like I said, I was startled. I recoil, but then I steel myself. As a paladin, I shouldn't be afraid of the undead. In fact, I relish a fight with them. And I call out, "Show yourself, fiend!"
So you hear more of the laughter, and then a moment later, there's a sudden force that yanks you from the room that you're in, pulls you into your original room, and slams you against the wall. And then from there, the flames turn red and the walls begin to leak.
Walls begin to leak.
Yep.
Like water or
Yeah. What is the liquid substance coming up from the walls?
So as you touch it and look closely to investigate it, it has the viscous feel and the irony sort of scent of blood.
But
I bathe myself in the blood. No, I'm just kidding. It's obviously pretty disgusting. I wash my hand as best I can. What trickery is this? Come out and fight!
You hear one last giggle, and then all of a sudden the lights flicker and shut off, and when they go back on, you're back in your bed, and everything is as normal.
Back in my bed?
Mm-hmm.
I look around. I get up, and I go to find Marthow or Eivar.
All right, so this time, as you open your door, it does open out into the brisk, steady winds that are buffeting the ship.
All right. I know Eivar was at the elemental last time I saw him, so I make my way over there.
Is the ring that holds the fire elemental like above? Does it like cross above the ship?
Yeah, it's all the way around.
then I would just be like laying under the ring, splayed out to soak up the heat.
All right.
I have the heat retention of a 5-year-old girl.
Fair enough. So before you get to Eivar, Marthow, you're in your room, correct?
Yep, laying in a bed.
All right. So in
lack of accommodations here.
I'll be right back.
all right. So while you're laying in bed, just sort of staring, suddenly you get the sense of tingling on the back of your neck and almost sort of sensation like something is brushing against your cheek.
What does it feel like? Is it cold? Does it feel cold? Does it feel soft?
You know, it doesn't, you can't really tell that much. All you know is it's just sort of like, it's not necessarily soft, but it was kind of just like, just kind of like a brushing against your cheek. Not really warm. There wasn't any kind of temperature differential. You just sort of felt that slight sensation.
Okay, so I'm laying on my side, and I feel it on whatever side's not touching the bed.
Right.
I just kind of bat it away. Then like just kind of do this.
And then when you do that, you begin to hear this. Did you guys hear that?
No.
I'm just gonna send you guys the link to where I found it. It is kind of soft. Spoils a little bit of the. Go there and you go to the Little Demon Girl song.
I couldn't even finish it. It's too scary. Too spooky for me.
So I hear that, and I'll sit up and look around.
As you look around, you see this in your room.
You can stop making it bigger.
Zoom in on the eye. Enhance.
Thanks.
Here's another view. Here's another view of it.
Nice.
Is that like a real doll that somebody found?
Yes.
Oh, it's fucking disgusting.
I'm gonna cast. I cast. So, Marthow starts humming the song. Mm, brave, brave Sir Marthow, Sir Marthow. And he feels a bit better. He's imbued with bravery, so he imbues himself with his bravery and kind of gives himself a pump up song. So that makes me it's a heroism, so it makes me immune to fear, or I'm immune to being frightened.
Wait, you cast heroism?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Cast it on myself. So I just look at this thing, and I'm in not a great mood because I'm still dissatisfied with the accommodations.
Mm-hmm.
So I just give it the finger.
So the
music pumped into your cabin like this.
so the doll just sort of sits there limply. Doesn't seem to respond. In fact, when you cast heroism, this whole sense in the room changed. The hairs no longer were standing up on the back of your neck, and the sense of dread that was there just a moment ago that you hadn't even noticed until you had cast this spell has left. All that remains is this doll that you don't know how it got there.
I'll walk over to the doll and I'll grab it by the foot and like dangle it in front of my face.
It just sort of dangles. It's made of mostly cloth stuffed with some kind of wool. The head seems to be made of some kind of wood, wooden carving that's been painted and polished. And the hands and the feet are also made of wood. It has been glued into their positions. It does have a faint odor to it that you can't quite place.
Can I do an Arcana check to determine if I recognize any sort of magic on it?
Well, are you going to cast Detect Magic first, or are you going to just sort of look for any kind of signs that there might be some kind of magic?
I don't have Detect Magic.
Okay. So an Arcana check would be kind of you would look over the doll to see if there were any clear signs of like runes or seals or anything like that that might have some sort of anchor to some kind of magic imbuing in it. But without Detect Magic, you wouldn't be able to actually see any magical auras.
Gotcha.
Unless you want to spend an action point.
I can do that. I'll spend an action point.
Okay.
Boost my Arcana check to see if I can determine the auras and such.
All right. So with your action point, you force your will and shape the magic under your control in such a way that it forms a kind of haze over your eyes and distills some of the normal world around you to enhance that which cannot be normally seen, that lies beyond the veil within the background. All right, so give me your Arcana check.
It's a 9.
All right. Do you want to spend another action point to re-roll that?
Do. It's an 11.
All right. So there is a faint magical presence to it. It is colored in kind of a black mist that surrounds the doll in a vaguely ambiguous fashion. Doesn't have any real shape to it, but you can clearly see the color of this magic is black. And in your experience, that speaks of necromantic energies.
Can I tell, if I look around, can I see any other place in the room right now that has a black aura?
Give me another Arcana check.
It's a 23.
All right. So as you look around the room, something really stunning seems to happen. That black mist that kind of surrounds the doll is actually everywhere you look. Everywhere seems to be suffused in this miasma of death magic. And although it seems to be strongest in the doll, it permeates your room like a deep fog, making it hard to see anything else.
Okay. Well, I'm going to cast Firebolt on this doll because I'm holding it. I'm just going to have my my hand just kind of wreath in flame to burn it.
All right, it burns. It begins to smolder, and the cloth and the wool of the doll seem to crackle and spark, while the wooden head and feet and hands seem to take longer to burn, but they catch readily, especially with the lacquer and polish that are still within the wood even after the years that seems to be worn through the doll's structure.
Okay. As I feeling I don't really want to let this thing get out of my sight, so I'm just gonna hold on to it. Is there the room that's next? So I see a doorway to the other rooms or to the hallway.
It's not really a hallway. Each room opens up into the deck.
Okay. So I'm gonna go out.
They're kind of there's 2 levels to the ship. There's the main level, which has all the ships, and then there's kind of like a ramp that goes up around the top, kind of like a track almost. So think of a ship that instead of having a solid floor across the top of it, it's been kind of like carved out.
Okay.
So it's not really an efficient design. That's something that Eivar probably can point out to Winfrey.
Gotcha.
So when you're standing next to the railings of the ship, looking over it, you're actually standing on top of the rooms, and going about 10 feet in towards the ship, into the ship. There's then another railing, and below that is like this hallway where the cabins are.
Gotcha. But okay, so I'm not looking off like into like the ground below.
What's that?
I'm not looking at like the ground below. There's
No, I mean you're still. It is a hallway of sorts that you're in. It's just an open ceiling hallway.
Gotcha. All right. Do I still I see this black mist out here?
It's harder to see out there because it is midnight now, and as you look at the night sky, you notice that because of the heavy clouds of the upcoming winter storm, it's complete blackness in the sky. There are no stars. You don't see any of the 12 moons. And the only light you see for miles is the light of the elemental ring of fire surrounding the ship. And so because of the stark contrast between that light and the darkness everywhere else, it's hard to make out any kind of shades of black or gray beyond the background.
Gotcha.
I'll let you make another Arcana check, though, to see if you can.
No, I think I'm just gonna keep walking.
All right.
Marthow feels reasonably sure that he left whatever it is behind in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's just going to walk around. And he's going to look for a place to dispose of this doll.
Okay. So as you're doing that, you run into Elmorn, who just left his room. And he looks a bit... I'm not going to say he looks white, because I don't think Elmorn scares that easy, even with what he's encountered. But he definitely looks a bit shaken, even for him.
Have you noticed anything strange? What the hell is that?
This little bastard started caressing my neck while I was sleeping. Yeah, I burned it. I'm looking for a place to dump it.
Good idea. It's not a good look for you.
Yes, I wouldn't want to be caught dead with carrying around a doll. It doesn't make us look good, you know.
Oh, I wonder how Elmorn's going to respond to that one.
Oh, see what you're saying. I don't even know how to respond to that. Pissed. That's not what I meant.
Oh, well. Still, this is not a thing I'd like to have hanging around. I tell him about the black energies that I've seen and kind of feel. It seems there's this energy that permeates the air. And it was very heavy in the room when I caught this little bastard.
I didn't encounter any black energies, but there's definitely the presence of undead here.
Well, I think we may have picked up some unwanted visitors from those ruffians that were throwing rocks at us. Seems we shall have to clear. Well, by the way, you look a little white around the edges. Are you okay?
Like I said, something strange is going on. I encountered some strange laughing face. Then I was unceremoniously put back in my bed. Truth be told, I thought it was a dream, but it felt too real. Like I said, I sensed the presence of undead. Something is afoot.
We should go look for Eivar. If something's afoot, we at least need to make sure he's okay. He is smaller and of less stature, therefore he has a greater risk to being hurt.
I want to question our gracious host.
Yes. I think I got a new doll for their collection. So let's try to find Eivar's room.
He's outside, I think.
How big is the ship?
It's about 200 feet long, 60 feet wide.
So with it moving, because Eivar would probably be like singing to amuse himself, but at 200 feet, he could be and the air moving over it. They might not hear him.
Yeah. But it wouldn't take them too long to find you. So if that's what you guys want to do, you find Eivar pretty quickly.
Yeah. Eivar.
Yep.
We heard you. By the way, have you noticed anything off about this place? That's like hold the doll in front of him.
Oh, cool doll. Who burned it?
That was me.
Yeah.
This thing was touching me in ways I did not appreciate.
Well, that's never good. Show me where on the doll touched you.
And I point to the doll's the back of the doll's neck.
Yeah, but I have noticed that it's really fucking cold on this ship.
You know, suddenly I'm starting to appreciate the haunting I got since I didn't get touched. Since I didn't have to get touched.
So where'd you find the doll?
It was the damnedest thing. I was laying on my side, and then I feel a brush against my cheek, and I just, pushed it off. I felt, then I heard an odd singing, and then I looked up and I saw this thing.
What did they do? The singing may have been me. I don't know where your cabin is. Sorry if I was singing too loud. I thought it was pretty cool.
Wait,
I
singing.
wish it was you singing.
Marthow, the singing.
Yes.
Was it a girl's voice?
It was. It was a young girl, a little girl.
I heard a little girl laughing. I swear I saw. Well, I'm not quite sure what I saw, but it was some kind of undead monster girl.
Maybe this is her doll. She seemed to think it was funny to leave it in my room. I burned it, as you can see. I do not appreciate such gestures. Also, if you take a look around, you'll notice there's a kind of a dark aura around this place. Very peculiar. I think we may have picked up some diseases from Atur. Those ruffians may have thrown more than rocks at us.
Is Brevin with us, or is he gone somewhere else?
He's with you on the ship. He's currently in his room.
So we think.
I have half in mind to question our captain, quote unquote. Winfrey, was it?
Yes.
It might be a good idea to go check to see if Brevin is okay. I mean, I haven't really been in my cabin that much other than to figure out if there was a crash pad in there on the bed. But you guys were in your rooms when you started to get the hauntings. So maybe Brevin's also...
How was that?
Hark.
Damn it, it's that girl again.
Not quite sure. Where did the noise come from?
So the noise came from the front of the ship.
Come on, guys, let's go check it out.
Yeah, let's go.
So I'll get up, which takes half my movement, and then start running.
So as you guys get to the front of the ship, you see somebody lying on the ground.
Is it the lizard man?
It's not the lizard man. It's the person that had the bow and arrow strapped to their back. And you don't see anybody else near them. They're laying on the ground in what seems to be a growing pool of slickness that reflects off the light of the elemental ring of fire.
So I'm gonna go up, and I'm guessing it's dead, but I'll do a medicine check.
All right. So as you get closer, you tug on the figure's shoulder to put it on its back, and facing up at you, this is what his face looks like. Hold on, sorry.
Does it look like the same guy and somebody did that to him, or it's like just not his face at all?
No, it looks like the same guy. It's just, it looks like whatever did this carved into him and stitched him up.
So I will, Eivar lets out, and backs up.
Oh, God damn it.
Wipes his hand. Marthow. That he touched the guy with.
Wait, what?
Wipes his hand, the hand that he touched the guy with on Marthow.
Damn it, Eivar, blood stains. So this thing is this guy is dead. Very much so.
Very much so.
Does it look like there's any sign of he has got blood on his face? Is there any blood on the ground anywhere bleeding?
Yeah, I mean he's bleeding from these wounds profusely, and he's like in a pool of his own blood.
Yeah.
Ivar's left tracks of it stepping near the body.
Is there any sign of like a struggle?
Give me an investigation check.
Uh, 14.
You do notice, looking at his arms, his fingers are gnarled and crooked as if they've been like stiffened into place, like claws. Almost like somebody who has super advanced like arthritis in their hands, and each finger, many of the fingernails seem to have been ripped out as if this person was clawing at something, similar to how a person clawing at the hood of their coffin might destroy their fingers.
We're all familiar with what it's like to crawl at the coffin. So I will yell out for the captain repeatedly.
And
he just
I was gonna say Marthow's his heroism is starting to wear off, and he's starting to become afraid again, or afraid, because he never really was afraid.
You know, that brings up a good point. There's something interesting that begins to kind of take upon everybody. I'm gonna send you guys all an email and let you know how it affects each of you.
Email.
From a female.
Sent to you. Justin, I sent to you.
I'm gonna give you a wisdom check.
Everybody give me a wisdom check.
I got a 15, so you can tell me what that means in relation to your email.
I have a 16 as well.
Do they get my aura of protection?
Good question. No, not for this time, because this is something that supersedes even that.
Okay. I rolled a nat 20.
Wow. Okay. So I know I sent you. I sent you. Or did I sent to you?
That sounds like a teenager. Or like Tiny Rick.
All right, so this comes over you guys all of a sudden.
And there's like no crew around. Nobody has responded.
Yeah, there's nobody. It's a ghost town on the ship as far as you can see. Even Petrie seems to be not even responding to anything.
How are you two holding up?
I have no idea where the hell anybody is on this ship. It's freezing fucking cold. This guy's dead, killed by some sort of ghost. I have no idea even why the fuck we're going to Korth, to be honest with you. I'm just tagging along because you're my fucking employers. I don't know why I'm here, and I want to go fucking home. And I'm going to storm off.
Oh. Marthow?
I'm feeling a bit down. It came on all of a sudden. I can't. It must be this black stuff. I don't know.
Why's it got to be black?
It's great.
I don't know. Something is pressing its will against us.
Now that you mention it,
I don't know.
I was feeling a bit afraid, but I don't know. It's as if I willed myself to not feel afraid. I guess I'm just that badass. Must be the chocolate milk.
Eivar comes like marching past everyone again, saying, I told myself I was going to pick up the front of a fucking airship, and I'm just getting that done right now.
Eivar, this isn't like...
The front.
Eivar. Why are you so
Paying
mad?
no attention to you guys. He puts his hand up as he continues towards the front of the ship.
Am I the only one who hasn't lost his mind?
So, Eivar, as you approach the front of the ship, you see Winfrey, the Lyrander, steering the vessel with the steering wheel that looks an awful lot like those pirate ship type steering things, but it's also ringed with dragon shards, and he's clearly channeling power into the wheel using his dragon mark. But he doesn't even seem to mind or pay attention to you or even notice you as you walk by him towards the front of the ship.
Oh,
And
when I see him, I'm gonna walk up behind him and like kick him in the Achilles heel.
give me a strength check.
7.
All right. You see him kind of flinch, barely notices or registers, kind of like a medium-sized cat just kind of headbutting him.
I will grumble and continue to the front of the ship then, the bow of the ship.
All right. So Elmorn, Marthow, you see Eivar suddenly decide to storm off to the front of the ship to urinate off of it, which can't be a good idea in this wind, but devil may care attitude seems to have taken over.
We should I don't know. I don't really care. We should.
What's gotten into you, man?
I don't know. It's this place. It's this thing.
I am sensing something is afoot. It wasn't apparent already. I want to use divine sense again.
Okay.
Any celestial fiend or undead.
Just before you do that, you guys hear that? That was supposed to be the sound of suspense. Anyways,
Oh, yeah.
yes. And then where is it? And then as Eivar is participating in that thing that he's doing, he hears this behind him.
Oh, I said go away, guys. Leave me the fuck alone.
And then you feel something. Feel something pull you, and then all of a sudden there's just blackness and a slamming door.
So I can't see anything?
You can't see anything. You are in pain, and you seem to be on the ground somewhere, but everything around you is just pitch black. And your head is swimming a little bit.
And I assume, given what I was doing, I'm now also like once again partially covered.
Why did I choose that moment to take a drink? That's a safe assumption. That's all I'll say about that.
So I will like bang my head to try to get the dark vision working again. If I can't, just start like feeling around.
So with the dark vision, you see that you're in a wooden room. Seems to be could be cargo hold, or it could be some other sort of rather small compartment. I mean, it's large for you, but for anyone else, it would be kind of on the small side. It's probably only about 7 to 10 feet by 7 to 10 feet.
So I will take out my wind-up lantern and brighten it up a bit.
Okay.
Is there a door?
You see there's a hatch on the ceiling, which is about, this is a cube room, so it's about 7 to 10 feet in the air.
So I was at the front of the boat at the bow, so there should have been sort of like an angle to it, I assume. Does it look like I'm still somewhere near the bow from the walls, or am I just in like a square room?
It does seem to be close to the bow. Yeah, it does sort of taper off in that way, but it still is generally kind of somewhat around those dimensions to some degree or another.
And is there like cargo or boxes or anything?
No, it's just you.
could go back out there. But then
So
I'm bothered by those.
one thing that you do see when sorry, I should have mentioned this earlier, but when you turn on the wind-up lantern, you see something in the corner. What you see in the corner is this. Seems to be a little boy standing there holding something.
Yeah, it's a little tiny on my screen. Can you zoom in a bit more? What is he holding?
Looks to be some kind of stuffed doll.
Demogorgon.
He's just standing there in the corner.
Hey, little boy. No response.
Hey, little boy, fuck you.
He seems to be kind of swaying somewhat rhythmically back and forth, almost in time with the howling of the winds. But other than that, he seems to not hear you.
So I'm going to go up. And how tall is he? I mean, I'm 3 feet tall. Is he taller than me?
No, he would be eye level with you.
Okay. So I'm going to go up and like reach out and grab a shoulder and roughly like spin him around and say, I said, hey, little boy.
So as you approach him, the image changes somewhat. So this monster suddenly appears out of the darkness around the edges of the light, engulfing the child, and then it seems to be like a flying orb of scaly flesh and little hands, and it comes at you and bites hard into your into your shoulder right beside your neck.
Is it like grabbed on, or did it bite and then let go?
It's bitten down and it's kind of grabbed on, and as you wrestle with it, it looks like the size of a balloon, and you can feel its little claws like clawing at you, like
So,
on your chest as it's latched onto you, and you can feel the warm sensation of your blood kind of flowing down your shoulder and chest, and it is incredibly painful.
So after letting out the shriek of pain, Ivar's going to draw out his dagger and just try to start stabbing at it.
And so what happens is you stab at it, it lets go, and you continue, it falls to the floor, and you continue stabbing it for a while. And then once you gain your composure and take a moment to step back, it's the head of the lizard man.
Uh-oh. So it's just the head of the lizard man?
It's just the head. Like it's been decapitated from the body.
So because I'm irritated and not necessarily thinking logically, I will say, you are lucky I didn't murder you, because for a second there I was afraid I just killed you, you fucking lizard man.
What about Elmore and Martha? What are you guys doing while Eivar is sort of
I was
on the
mid
front?
divine sense cast.
Yes, so you still sense the presence of an undead creature.
Where?
But you have difficulty discerning exactly where.
God damn it.
Oh.
Do I get its general location? A direction?
It seems to be everywhere.
This frustrates me.
Do we hear anything? So I think we should, I don't know, go tell Lyrander what's going on.
Wait, did we notice Ivar's gone yet?
Oh yeah, you guys saw him storm away to the bow of the ship.
So we didn't see him. We didn't see him get sucked into this dark realm.
No, because you guys are kind of still on the lower level.
Yeah. Has it been a while since he left?
But good 5 minutes. Longer than it needs to take to pee. Especially for someone so short of stature.
Well, sad Marthow. Sad thou. I'm not sure. We have two options, in my opinion. One, we go talk to this Winfrey, find out what the hell is going on. Or two, we go look for Eivar. He's taken quite a long time for a man of his stature. He's barely the size of my bladder.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really care what we do.
God damn it. Whatever. Eivar was on the way to Winfrey anyway. So, because he passed him, right? Because he kicked him. All right. We go to Winfrey.
All right, you see him on the deck towards the front of the ship, steering.
All right, grab him by the shoulder.
He looks at you blankly.
What the hell is going on, man?
Huh?
Haven't you noticed the strange things happening?
I'm flying.
Am I the only one who hasn't lost his mind?
I don't know. I don't care.
Where the hell is Eivar?
Can I get back to flying?
Can I can tell he's acting weird, but is there any like sense of why? Can I get a sense of why he's weird or anything like that?
Probably has something to do with whatever's making you feel weird and whatever's making everyone else feel weird.
Okay.
Give me a perception check. For Elmorn and Marthow. Marthow, you're at disadvantage because you just don't care.
I rolled another nat 20.
I got a 12.
All right. So you see something, Elmorn, and you hear something. The first thing you see is as Marthow is kind of looking around to try and see where Elmorn is, you notice the doll is back, but it's grabbing on the back of Marthow's clothes, like hanging from his collar on his back, and he didn't even notice. And just as you notice that, that's when you hear Eivar in a muffled way from below deck start shouting about having been worried about killing something and that it better be glad that it's dead.
The hell did he get below deck? Martha, why is that doll hanging on your clothes?
Oh, shit. Get it off me. I start trying to pull it off.
Is it still burned, or did it like regenerate?
No,
It's still burned.
How would he say?
Yeah.
it's not burned.
I'm hearing two different things.
Yeah, I'm hearing two different things as well.
It's not burned.
Oh, it's basically like regenerated itself.
Yeah, except now it's on the back of Marthow, like in a way that it's like hands are hooked into his clothes.
All right. Well, Marthow said get it off, so I attempt to grab it and remove it from his clothing.
All right. You do that easily enough, and once you do that, you hear where is it?
Seems to come from the doll, or just from?
No, it seems to be coming from your right side and then running away and then circling around you and running the other way.
I'm gonna shoot the doll with a firebolt.
All right. This time the doll reacts much more violently than before. In Elmorn's right hand, it just kind of flashes in almost an almost explosive flash, and just like ash falls from his hand.
All right. Well, that takes care of that. Did I see that laughing thing in the shape?
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I see the shape that's running.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Your ability to kind of see those energies is faded by now.
Gotcha. We should go find Eivar. I mean, whatever you want to do.
You are not fun like this. Never thought I'd say that.
Yeah. This sucks.
But I agree. We should find Eivar.
You hear a muffled Eivar yelling, "Good news, Ghost! You want to be pissed off and to fuck with me? Well, now I'm pissed off. Come fuck with me!"
It sounds like he's going to draw trouble, so we might as well go help. Or go lay down. Both are good options. You lead the way.
All right. Well, what's the best way we know of getting below deck?
I mean, you can see the door that he was pulled through.
Oh.
So you
we didn't know he was pulled through that deck. Or that door.
Well, I mean, it's where the sound leads, so you would make the connection.
All right, then I open the door and head down.
As you open the door, I reflexively point up and an arrow whistles over your shoulder into the darkness. And where the hell is Komar? At the time we need a fucking specialist in ghosts, he's off at fucking Ghost Disneyland, and we're stuck here on this boat.
So there's no real way down. I mean, you could probably lower yourself enough to just grab him by the hand and pull him up. or you could probably use a rope or something like that, but there's no real stairs or anything. It seems to be just a dead drop, like a really weirdly designed compartment, which Eivar may have words with Winfrey to kind of make more efficient.
I've always done giving him free fucking advice. But I will walk over under the hatch and use my automatic boots to raise me up so that I can reach up about 8 feet.
Oh, I love it. You get to use your automatic boots in a way that matters. So yeah, with the automatic boots, you can easily reach down and grab Eivar and pull him up the deck.
I choose not to. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I help him up.
So,
Okay.
as you're doing that, Eivar, you notice that where the wound is that the lizard man had bit down on, it's beginning to itch. And not only is it itching there, it's kind of itching all over. And Marthow, you notice you have this sense of something like burning across your face.
Do I see anything, or do I?
You don't see anything. It's just like an intense heat that is just like right now it's bearable, but it's increasing in intensity. Same thing with you, Eivar.
Kind of rub my Marthow kind of rubs his face, and does that feel any better? He looks at his hand.
Nope, and there's nothing on your hand. And Elmorn, the minute that you bring Eivar onto the deck, you hear something. But the thing is, you hear it right in your ear. And when you turn around to see what's there, it's your own hand. Going like this and laughing.
Oh. Everyone else notice this?
Yeah. Yeah, everyone else has noticed that. Although they also have their own problems building.
Did we hear sound or just see him?
No, you guys hear the sound of the laughter.
If I got the lizard man part, my wife is going to kill me.
I cut my own hand off.
The Eivar, the itching from that is starting to spread over your body is getting to be unbearable. Like you can't even help but instinctively itch everywhere.
I am immediately running over to where the fire elemental is and taking off my armor.
Okay. And then Anu.
Yes.
You remember that song that I sent you guys?
Yes.
The little girl song?
Yes.
Your hand is starting to sing that.
I take my other hand and try to stop my one hand.
It's muffled, but you continue to hear it. And Marthow, the fire in your face is just growing. And it's running a little bit down your neck now as well.
It kind of jolts him a little bit, and he has just a moment of kind to surface out of the malaise of not caring. And he remembers a song that that Charles would sing to him when he was sick, and it always made him feel better, and made him feel like he could take it on. So I'm going to cast heroism again on myself.
Okay. So as you cast the heroism spell, your depression kind of fades. but the sensation of the fire burning across your face and your neck remains, and if anything, actually maybe even worsens a bit. Eivar, as you remove your armor, you begin scratching your shoulder, and a piece of cloth falls down, and you look at it, and you notice that there's an eyeball staring up at you from your shoulder. And it's a weird sensation because as you're looking at it, you can see through its eye looking at you. And a part of your field of vision is devoted to that eye and your eyes. And then across your body, this itching continues, and your normal field of vision with these two eyes begins to shrink, and you have a lot of darkness around that vision. And then this one spot where you're looking back up at your own face from your shoulder.
Oh, then I'm just going to start screaming and running in circles.
The only logical thing to do.
So, Elmorn and Marthow, what do you do as you guys are experiencing your own things and seeing what's going on with Eivar?
So I see this eye on Eivar.
Give me a perception check.
Oh, 4.
No. But you do see him scream and run around in circles. And you're continuing to hear your other hand whisper this strange song.
Right. And I'm trying to muffle as much as I can.
Yeah.
At some point, I will stop running and take out my dagger.
All right, so you stab the eye, and it is an intense, blinding pain that explodes in your head as you do this. And that one field of vision that you are looking up at you from yourself goes out, but you still have this, your normal field of vision continues to shrink as more blackness begins to surround it. And your itching continues to increase across your body. Marthow, you begin to hear a tearing sound. And then you begin to feel an intense pain, even greater across your face.
Man, I don't know what is across my face if I can't feel it.
Well, do you feel up to your face?
Yeah.
So as you begin to feel up to your face, you feel it stretching and actually pulling away from yourself. It is like ripped. It's like there's some external force or internal pressure that is causing your face, the skin, the flesh around your face and your neck to just peel and rip, and that's the ripping sound that you're hearing. And you can feel the blood, the warmth of the blood begin to trickle down you. And it's a nice warm sensation against the cold wind that is continuing to barrette all about you.
I see I'm freaking out. So like it's falling off and I'm assuming it's bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like this and yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna start screaming, and yeah, that's all I can really do.
So as you're screaming, Elmorn, your hand suddenly jerks and then actually opens up and then snaps your hand, like snaps in half, and you feel your arm contort in a way that is like bringing your shoulder forward and your arm back, and you feel it wrench itself out of your socket, painfully twisting the bones in your arm. And then you can sense and feel the muscles and sinews stretch and snap, and the warm blood begin to flow from your shoulder as it begins to rip from your body, and it shoots over once it has done so and floats in the air in between you, Marthow, and Eivar, and begins to contort even more. And you can see the bones pop out of the flesh and begin to snap in various places and reassert itself in a new configuration. And as it does that, Marthow's flesh finally rips completely off and wraps about the thing as a cloak of bloody flesh. And then Eivar feels immense pain as from his body, two of these eyeballs, of many eyeballs that have sprung up across his flesh, rip out of his torso and then fly to this thing and create eyes. And after a moment of forming and changing, and it begins to coalesce into this. It's like, but it's a doll kind of floating in the air, looking like that.
Okay, maybe I missed this. Did I lost my arm basically?
You lost your right arm.
Jesus Christ!
Marthow lost a chunk of flesh around the bottom of his mouth and his neck, and Eivar has two gaping holes in his torso and also a number more eyes spread across his body.
Can I cast Compel Duel on my arm and make it fight me instead of going to this thing?
Why hit yourself? Why hit yourself?
Crazy.
So should we roll initiative, or can I just shoot arrows at the thing?
I'm severely gimped for this fight, if that were happening.
So Eivar, as you shoot arrows into it, the arrows find their way into its eyes, and as arrows puncture its eyes, you feel the blinding pain in you, and two more eyes rip out of your body and put themselves in his face.
I'm in shock that I've lost my arm, so I'm not even doing anything. I'm just looking at my bloody stump.
Yeah, and it's just kind of looking at you guys, and it's kind of like putting a weird malformed hand kind of wrapped in Marthow's chin flesh, and it's just kind of putting its hand up to his mouth and kind of like going,
Has anyone got any holy water? God out. Hearing no holy water, I am going to throw alchemist fire at the puppet, or whatever it is.
Wait, at the which puppet?
At the doll that just formed out of our body parts.
Oh, okay. You're gonna. What are you throwing at it?
Alchemist fire.
Okay. All right. Give me. Remind me, is that an attack roll or is that a dexterity save?
Let me check. Yeah, it's a ranged attack roll. I rolled an 18, so it's 24.
All right. So it bursts in flame for a bit, and Marthow feels it scorching across his face, and you can see the wet underflesh around his jaw and neck begin to bubble and steam.
Ah!
I take it it's not going to use its action to put itself out.
No, it's just kind of still going like, and you can hear more of this laughter, this child's laughter, kind of now it's surrounding you everywhere.
Is there a sense that can Marthow tell if this affliction to any of us, if this is a spell? Like the
Give me an Arcana check.
Money. No money. It's like a 6.
You can also give me a wisdom save.
Oh. That's hardly better.
Okay. So there's a part of you that hopes that this is a dream, or hopes that this is some kind of illusion or some kind of spell effect, but it feels and seems completely real. Like whatever this is actually took the flesh from your face, Marthow, and Elmorn's arm, and additional grown eyes from Eivar. And Eivar, while your vision, as you rip off your clothes, your vision becomes clearer as you reveal more eyes. But it is also disorienting as well. It makes it hard to aim as effectively, even though you have more field of vision and some better stereoscopic aiming potential. It's just too disorienting to really be as effective as usual.
So Martha is going to cast phantasmal force on this creature, and this creature begins to experience the day, blinding daylight, even though it's night. Oh wait, this is on. No, this it doesn't. That wouldn't work. Because it doesn't affect undead or constructs. Martha's just going to try to shoot it. Yeah, he's well aware that it's going to hurt.
And I'm going to yell out, do either of you have protection from evil?
Kind of. Paired. Also, I need a hand.
I just kill evil when I see it. Or let it live, either or. I don't have protection from evil. So I'm going to shoot a chaos bolt at it.
All right. So give me your rolls.
Um, 13.
All right, so that misses. So your chaos bolt flies off kilter into the night, and the creature turns around and with supernatural speed seems to head towards Breben's cabin.
I'll run after it.
And then everybody also give me a perception check.
Jesus. I rolled a 1.
You don't see the little hiccup in the floorboard, and you stumble and fall.
I got a non.
Right on your stump.
Ah!
I'm sorry, what did you say, Kurt?
You instinctively reach out with that arm to like brace your fall.
Talk about.
I got a non-natural 20.
Okay. Marthow?
I thought it was just those two. Well, what kind of check was it?
Perception.
Natural 1.
All right, so you also stumble on something and fall. You don't hurt yourself so badly as Elmorn, but Eivar, you notice that the thing that Martha tripped over was the doll.
Is it like holding like a little leg out?
No, it's arm. It kind of gripped around his ankle, I guess.
Oh, it's just showing off that it has an arm.
So the doll seems to be back, and it seems to be whole, despite having been burned twice.
Marthow kind of, he's like, ah! And he looks down and he feels like a tug, and he sees the doll. And he's like, ah! He just like kind of kicks it and tries to like scramble away.
Now, while you guys are doing all of this, you can hear a voice kind of coming from everywhere. It's the little girl singing again that song, and you have a feeling that the one that she is looking to play with, and by the way that the end of the song goes, kill, seems to be Brevin.
Oh, if you could just play with him.
So leaving my armor and most of my clothes now and just in a pile, run towards where Brevin's cabin is.
Oh, God.
As you run towards Brevin's cabin, it's open, and you can see the doll thing getting ready to do something with Brevin. You're not exactly sure what yet, but it looks like it's beginning to slowly approach him.
So I will, I guess, speak the incantation, Aleithvea Tarath, and then pull a now magical arrow out and try to hit it.
Ooh, okay.
28.
That's a hit.
7 points of damage.
All right. It immediately is from like 7 feet away near Brevin to right in your face, screeching. And just so you guys remember what it looks like, it's this guy. That's dumb. Why am I not doing this right?
It's Alien and Predator.
This guy is right in your face. And give me a strength saving throw.
Oh, I'm great at these. 11.
All right, so he hits you with some kind of force. He doesn't actually touch you, but his mouth opens wide, and a wordless, soundless scream emanates from deep within the depths of its chest and forces you out of the room and shuts the door.
Hey, I say, picking myself up. I ain't done yet. Although I'm sure the door is then locked and I'm not strong enough to open it. But I will pull.
Door is not locked.
So then I pull, like, expecting there to be resistance, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, it opens. And by that time, Marthow and Elmorn, you're also there.
Yep.
And you also have this third doll that has reformed, despite having been burned twice.
Does the doll seem evil?
More misunderstood.
I mean, it's certainly linked to this thing. Whether or not it's evil, who knows? But
I'm gonna take that doll. That's, I guess, still kind of grabbing onto my pants or whatever.
no, it's not. It's or yeah, it was. It tripped you. So yeah, it's there.
Yeah,
You
it's
can grab it.
So it's still grabbing on. So I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to throw it into the room.
Okay.
And
So now it's in the room.
And I'm going to shoot it with a firebolt.
Right.
Third time's charm.
So it goes up in a flash once again. The creature is still in the room, slowly approaching Brevin. And continuing to sing that song.
So if the door's open, when I can, I'm going to shoot 2 more magic arrows at it.
All right. Give me attack rolls.
That is a 24 and not as good, a 13.
All right, so one misses, the other hits it right in the shoulder, and Elmorn feels a sharp force kind of knock him once more to the floor.
What? Watch where you're aiming!
The creature begins to slowly raise a clawed, deformed hand, which previously was Elmorn's arm, and is now this creature's body. A single razor seems to slide slowly from its index finger, and it slowly begins to carve into Brevin's face.
I grab my former arm with my one remaining arm and try and pull it back to me.
All right. Give me a let's do athletics.
Are you fucking kidding me? Roll a natural 1.
I rolled higher than a 1. So it not only resists you, but as you try to reach for it, it takes that same talon that it's using to carve into Brevin, and slashes you across your throat. It's not deep enough to cause you to die, but it's bleeding pretty profusely, and it was very close to your carotid artery. Was not deep enough to get into the trachea or anything like that, but certainly a scary wound.
Seeing Elmorn get get pretty slashed, Marthow is going to respond by shooting a chromatic bolt its way.
All right, give me an attack roll.
It's a 19.
It's a hit.
Bolt. Let's see. Does 9 fire damage.
All right, so all three of you feel a burning fire kind of building in your flesh where you lost the various parts of your bodies. Also, everybody give me a perception check.
22.
13.
Actually, Eivar, your perception check is at advantage because you have many eyes.
I rolled a natural 20, so a 23.
Okay. And then Elmorn.
7.
All right. So, Eivar, you see the doll has now reappeared. This time it's on top of Elmorn's head.
Just like balance there?
Yeah, kind of like one of those yogis, like kind of like its arms are clearly crossed and its legs are crossed and it's just sitting on top of his head.
So I will yell out, Elmorn, there's a doll on your head. And then I'm gonna run in and try to, now that he's like slashed at Elmorn's throat, I'm gonna like try to like dive on top of Brevin and cover him. To get to Brevin. But I can see him because I got eyes literally in the back of my head.
So let me find what you guys hear.
Eivar doesn't drink, but man, he should start.
No fear. No fear, no fear.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
So it says no fair, and then it runs off.
That'll be the last we see of that doll.
What?
So that'll be the last we see of that doll.
Well, the doll is still in the room. It's still on Elmorn's head.
Oh, I thought that was what was running off.
No, the thing that you guys have been fighting.
Oh.
The monster that formed out of body parts made from each of you. By the way, you're all bleeding pretty profusely.
I have my one remaining good arm on my throat.
Yeah.
So since it's run off, I will like push myself up and look down at Brevin and say, "Wake up, you fucking wanker!" I slap him right across the face.
You slap him real good, but he doesn't seem to respond.
Is there?
We can either chase it down, which isn't going to work because it seems that it can just appear. But we think it wants to kill Brevin. So that means it's got to come back here. So if we just defend this spot and can hold on till morning, maybe it'll go away. I don't really know what to do.
I feel like this doll has something to do with it.
I mean, this doll's just the puppet of the bigger doll.
Maybe, maybe not. Marthow, do you sense any magic? Something, anything?
Arcana check to see if I can sense anything.
You guys hear another scream.
Yeah, actually, I've rethought my plan. If you give us a pilot, I think we all just crash. So maybe go defend the pilot.
Martha, what were you doing?
I was making an Arcana check. On to
For
see
what?
if I, an Arcana check.
No,
I
but for
I want if I could still sense that aura.
I mean, you can't see it necessarily because you're not pouring the same amount of focus that you did before, but you can still sense it. Still around everywhere.
So I say we take Brevin, carry him back up to where the pilot is, and that's where we make our stand. And by the way, here's a healing potion for a guy with the throat cut. Although, can't you heal yourself? Oh, here's a healing potion.
It's called lay on hands, not lay on hand. I need both hands.
And I'm going to do a. Does Eivar look hurt?
I think we're all hurt.
Yeah, you're all bleeding profusely.
But, like, I don't have my throat slit, so...
That's true. So I'm going to do I'm going to cast Cure Wounds.
Well, I may save my healing potion then.
I'll cast Cure Wounds, and I'll do a twin spell.
Where do you get Cure Wounds? Oh, you went Bard, didn't you? And you took that?
Yep.
Ah, okay.
I'm going to twin.
That makes more sense.
I'm going to twin Cure Wounds on myself and Elmborn.
Okay. It stops. It helps slow the bleeding, but your wounds are so significant that it doesn't staunch it completely. It does sort of scab up, and the bleeding does slow significantly, but it's still going.
Okay.
I wish Petrie was here, because then he could tell us that it's probably the Lycan's fault. No, actually, I've revised my plan again. We should take Brevin and Petrie and go defend the pilot.
Yes. Eivar, you're absolutely right. We need to get out of here to the pilot as soon as we can. Does Elmborn is he able to does he look a little better? I mean, at least
he does look a little better.
Not like the bleeding from the throat.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't fatal what he was dealing with his slit throat, but he's definitely able to be a little bit more confident in the wound being less severe, I guess.
Okay. Right, so let's head to the pilot then. We'll drag Brevin and Petrie along.
So both Brevin and Petrie seem to be out of it. You literally need to drag them because whatever kind of state they're in, it's some kind of comatose or deep slumber that is not, they're not really responsive. But before you even make it halfway to the ship's captain, you see somebody that has been dragged out of the room. And you know this because you see their cabin open and a trail of blood leading out to a body not too far away from the cabin door that has been slashed up similarly to the first one. In this one, you notice a deep crimson birthmark across the face.
So
Well,
it's been slashed.
I mentioned it before, but the lizard man's also dead. So I think this is like the end of the crew.
We better hurry.
The airship business isn't looking like a good investment.
We made a terrible mistake coming here. Let's hurry to the captain. There's not a whole lot of time left, it seems. If the lizard man's dead and this thing is dead, and the casual thing is dead, the casual guy.
So you make it to the captain okay. He's continuing to just kind of steer the ship blankly. Very little emotion or any kind of lights on. You also notice that the winds seem to pick up and you can see bits of snow begin to flake down from the clouds. Deep black clouds in the sky, blocking all starlight and moonlight.
Going to I don't know. At this point, we might as well just wait it out.
I'm gonna go back.
Better yet to go.
I'm gonna go back and start picking up some of my clothes and putting them back on.
So give me a perception check, Eivar. Advantage, of course.
It's good because that was a 1. 21.
All right. So you hear what seems to be the sound of straining metal.
Coming from?
The struts that hold the elemental ring in place.
Do I see anything around those struts?
Not immediately, but you can go investigate.
I will go investigate. Oh, by the way, throw that fucking doll into the elemental. I'm gonna go investigate.
The doll here.
Yeah, you guys still have it.
I'm gonna throw it into the elemental.
It quickly burns into nothing. And Eivar sees the figure of the clown kind of running its clawed hand along the metal struts. And as it does that, it seems that its touch seems to degrade the metal and cause it to rust and age incredibly fast, almost like it's rotting the metal. And causing parts of it to disintegrate, and the stresses separating the good parts from the bad parts of the metal, causing it to pull against each other and snap.
So where, I mean, the ship is vaguely like boat shaped, I assume.
Yeah, so it's like a boat, it's like a galleon, and in the center around it, like all around it, is this circle that's held up by various metal struts, kind of like the spokes of a wheel.
So is this clown thing, whatever it is, like hanging off the side of the boat, or is it above us?
Floating. It's flying.
Off the side of the boat?
Yeah. Because the one that you heard was directly off to the side. There's generally 5 spokes. There's one that's kind of serving like the mast right from the middle. And then there's 2 from the sides near the rails. And then there's generally 2 under the boat. Kind of like, the Da Vinci.
So thinking about it, I probably can't, because it hurts me to shoot it, I probably can't realistically get off 2 shots around, even though normally I could, because the second shot I'm just in pain. But I will, I'm drawing an arrow and chanting it again, Alayat Veil Tarath, and I am just going to try to sharpshooter it right in the eye.
All right. Give me your roll.
It was a 21.
All right, that's good enough to get it right in the eye. And it hurts like absolute hell.
That is 20 points of damage.
So it's not necessarily something that can be quantified like hit points, but you're feeling intense pain. It's kind of like exploding throughout your entire face and head. And then Elmorn and Marthow, give me a perception check.
Natural 1.
15.
So Martha, with your natural 1, you had no idea that the doll was back and basically like cradling you around the throat and hanging, like kind of hanging from you like chest to chest. And Elmorn, you see it. He turns around and the doll is suddenly there.
This doll has something to do with it. I know it.
Maybe it's time to change tactics. Embrace the doll. Be its friend.
I grab the doll and I say, "You just want someone to love you, don't you?" What, does the doll do anything? Yes. Creepy little doll. I will be your friend. And I hold the doll up towards the creepy thing, the other doll that's like destroying the ring.
Well, wait a minute. You have to change the way you're doing it.
Oh,
this
sorry.
is how
Like this. See, I'm friends with it now. You can stop.
It doesn't seem to be working. The thing is still slowly dragging its hands along the things that are holding the elemental ring in place. It's nearly finished. It's down the length of the first strut.
Well, I look at the doll. I hold it up again, hoping nothing happens. I look at the doll again. I get pissed. And I throw it into the fire elemental as well.
All right. It flashes in a puff of fire and ash. just as it did before.
Oh.
I'm gonna head to the. I'm gonna head to see if I could find Eivar. Go where he was at.
I mean,
All
right.
right, as you. What's that?
As he said he's going to come find Eivar. I didn't think I was that far away that I had to be found.
Yeah, wherever the direction you went. Like, can we see this thing?
What?
Can we see like this doll?
The clown.
Yeah.
Staring into the
Clown.
Yeah.
You can see what it's doing and everything.
You can see what it's doing, but it also seems to at various times fade in and out of sight.
Okay. I'm going to go up to it as close as I can, and I'm going to. Marthow starts just kind of waving his arms, his hands around, and he's gonna cast hypnotic pattern.
Okay. So describe what happens as you cast hypnotic pattern.
So Marthow, his hands start waving, and through the blackness and kind of the dark, you start seeing like it starts off as like gray, as like very dark gray, and then the gray gets lighter, and lighter, and just kind of like waves kind of through the air. They're undulating. And as it gets to the creature, being a creature of dark, it stops, and it just looks at Marthow.
So it stops and it stares at this hypnotic pattern that it's seeing. And the magic of the pattern creates these flashes, and in these flashes, sometimes the flashes of brightness, the monster, the thing, whatever it is, seems to disappear and reappear in the darkness in between the flashes. And almost like a strobe effect of it being blinking in and out of existence. And it causes it to falter for the length of the spell. But then as the spell begins to end and the magic begins to fade, the creature then disappears completely. And in its place, the doll is sitting on the strut leading out to the elemental ring. But that strut is continuing to crumble as the effects of the rot that it is imbued within the metal are continuing to advance.
The doll is on the struts now?
It's on the strut near Marthow and Eivar.
We're using doll to mean the little doll that constantly burned and reappears, and then doll, the one made up of our body parts.
Right. We'll call that the
Clown doll.
Yeah, like I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, what is that called? Homunculus. We'll call that the homunculus, and the doll is the doll.
So it's the doll that's on the strut, or the homunculus on the strut?
The doll is on the strut. And you hear the laughing running, as if you hear the laughing running from that strut towards the next one on the other side of the airship.
Okay, so the doll's with us right now. I want to pick up the doll again. See that? I pick up the doll. I know it has something to do with this doll. And then I with my one hand, I stare at the doll, and I'm like, "Tell me what you know! Tell me what you know! How do I stop this?" Wait. There's a certain, okay, so with most dolls, there's like a zipper or something that you can get into like the doll, or like this, or like stitching, where you can like open it up.
Yeah.
There seem to be anything like that I can like look inside the doll, like take its head off or something.
I mean, you could pull it apart.
Okay, I pulled the doll apart.
If you had more than one hand.
God damn it! All right, I try to pull the doll apart by myself, but then I'm like looking at the other two. Use a hand here.
Yes, you could. And then Marthow's gonna take. What?
I thought you were making a pun.
Yes, I was.
No, I meant him. He said, I can use a hand.
So, when are you gonna help me pull the damn doll apart or not?
Marthow's gonna help him. He's gonna walk up and he's gonna take the doll and he's just gonna bash its head until it comes off.
Knives on you.
It's wood.
All right. So you bash the head until it comes off, and it reveals some wool within the doll, that's being used as stuffing.
That's it.
That's all you can see from what's there.
I investigate further. I pull this thing apart. I want to see if there's anything weird about it.
Yeah, there's something very weird about it.
What's that?
You as you take the doll without the head, there's a strong sense of formaldehyde or some other kind of very pungent preservative. And as you pull apart the stuffing, you see some of it is stained black and is thick and hard. And as you continue to pull it out, you find what appears to be a mummified embryo.
Dear God.
And then with that, you begin to hear the stresses of metal as this thing is running its hand along the length of the other side strut.
We should kill this thing.
Wait. The embryo.
Thanks, Coach, for that.
I hold it up to the creepy homunculus, and I'm like, I have your baby.
We know it's impervious to fire. Have you tried smiting it? Because it's like the light. Maybe it won't light you smiting.
All right. Since it doesn't seem to affect it that I have it, I throw it on the ground, and I stomp on it, and I use divine smite with my boot. It's like a divine stomp.
Okay. So that does seem to do something.
Sweet.
When you stomp on it with your boot, charged with the holy energy, just from your own internalized power of vengeance, you You stomp it, it squishes. You can hear the giggling turn to a cry, and the homunculus near the strut begins to kind of convulses, and then it disappears. But you still hear that child's voice. It's not laughing anymore, but it's still there on the boat, and everybody's still in this comatose state.
What is it? If it's not laughing, what is it saying?
It's more of a cry and more of that no fair, no fair.
Well, can we tell where it's coming from?
It's kind of running everywhere.
So is the embryo squished completely?
It's dust under Elmore's boot.
Hell yeah.
Everybody give me a perception check. Eivar continues to do so with advantage.
Jesus Christ.
12.
Rolled another 1. So bad.
This is making up for that Warforged Titan where you had all those rolls.
Yeah.
What was your roll, Kurt?
16.
All right. So both Marthow and Eivar notice that Elmore's pants seem to be misshapen in the behind.
Oh my god.
And he doesn't even notice because he rolled a 1.
Hey, Elmore.
Yes.
Something going on in your pants.
Now's hardly the time.
I mean, you're having a little. I think the homunculus creature needs a butt. And your butt may pop off and go to it soon. Just so
What the hell are you? Oh my god. So is it like in my pants?
Yeah, it's the doll is in your pants. It's fully formed again.
All right, I pull it out.
Oh, that's good news then. You're not going to lose your butt.
So it is getting a little bit late. How much longer you guys want to go for?
It's hard to say. I mean, I could go another 30 minutes maybe, but it's hard to say because I have no idea if we are anywhere closer to beating it.
Yeah.
So here, how about we do this? Because the way that I planned today's session, because it was a Halloween one, I did want more of a sense of a lack of control on your guys' part, because that's what horror is all about. That's what
These
Halloween
ones
is.
certainly aren't helping.
But I'll say this much, and then we can decide if we want to continue as we are, or if we want to move this to like email to give you guys some time to be creative. Trying to destroy this doll is not going to work.
Oh, I didn't think the doll was the key. That wasn't. I don't know if destroying the homunculus is the key either.
Why didn't you believe me when I said this had something to do with the goddamn doll? Do with it?
Because the doll was the first, like one of the first things that appeared, and so
It kept coming back. I was like, why would he keep coming back if it's not,
it keeps going back to be creepy. To creep people out.
No, like this thing has to have something to do with it.
There's like some demon behind the doll that we've got to kill, but I don't know where that is.
So yeah, what happened was, and you guys would have seen it had you not been distracted by, I believe it was Elmorn, getting hit in the head with the rock. But somebody threw the doll on board on the ship. So the doll is kind of like the key to this whole thing. but destroying it in violence is not going to work. So we can try to finish out the session, or I can give you guys a chance to.
If we figure out the key to this doll, is that the end?
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Because I've come to realize if I plan out how to beat something, you guys 900 times out of 10 will figure out a way around it, or something I did not intend. And so I've stopped planning on how you guys can beat things.
You just plan on how we can't beat them?
No, I don't have an end point in mind. I'm like, all right, here's the problem. Fix it. That way, if I don't know that you guys have a hammer, everything doesn't become a nail, or vice versa. I don't know how that saying goes, but you get the gist.
Yes.
But I do have a couple of like parameters, and for this one, not violence.
Got it.
Well,
love.
The doll appeared to Marthow first. So Marthow, you were going to have to make sweet, sweet love to the doll.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that kind of doll, but
especially with that mummified fetus, I bet that gives it an extra tingle.
Nothing like formaldehyde.
All right. I can go until like midnight, maybe a little bit after. But anyway, let's just keep going. So, I take the doll out of my pants. It's purely platonic. No sexual tension with me and this doll.
Not yet.
Never. And my heart only yearns for my dearly departed wife. I open up the doll again. Is there another fetus in there? Or we open up the doll again? I can't do it by myself. Is there another fetus?
Yeah.
All right.
Think creatively, outside the box, guys. You guys have done it before. That's how you beat the Warforged Titan.
I destroy it again with a radiant, radiant boot smash. I'm joking.
All right, I am going to take out a Thunderstone. Leave the fetus in the doll. Give me the doll. And put a Thunderstone in the hole with the fetus. I'm just going to drop it over the side of the boat. So the Thunderstone will go off when it hits the ground.
I think we might be on something. Not with minus the Thunderstone. I think what this fetus needs, what this child needs, is a proper burial.
Well, it'll have a nice little crater as soon as it hits the ground.
Seeing as we're out at sea, we can only give it a burial at sea, but...
You're not at sea.
Or seeing as we're in the air.
Does anybody have any dirt for when it comes back?
I think you're onto something there, Elmore.
Because I'm pretty sure cremation's not going to cut it.
What?
I'm pretty sure cremation's not going to cut it.
No, we've already tried that multiple times.
Like literally 5 times.
Elmore, I think you are onto something.
Yes.
The only way
As you guys are discussing this, you're beginning to hear the second strut once more corrode and scream
Okay.
as the homunculus comes back.
Looks like we're pressed for time. Any of you know proper burial rites? If only Petrie were here.
Yeah, right? Petrie, do you have anything to say?
Oh, he's not even here.
He's comatose, just like Brevin and the captain.
I mean, can I make a religion check to see if I know about burial rites? Or at least for the sovereign host is my religion.
Yeah.
Not bad. 19.
Yeah, so there are some pretty standard words that tend to be spoken for burials, like similar to like psalms or poems or things like that, religious rites, but usually the burial rites of the sovereign host are similar to um, those that you might find commonly in the United States, with burying the person in the ground about 6 feet under. Um, there's they're not usually in a casket; they're usually wrapped in cloth, and there's not really preservatives used to keep the body from decomposing. Uh, and yeah, it's pretty simple. Not much to it.
So we need about a 6 foot deep pile of earth.
Yes.
Although who knows? Maybe if we wrap the thing in cloth and we're respectful and I say what I remember of the funeral rites, maybe then if we give it a respectful burn, not I'm angry, so here's a firebolt up your ass burn.
Could this work?
What if we build it up higher?
Out of what?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little wary of setting a large fire on a wooden boat in the air, but
But the boat is metal.
No, it's not.
Wasn't the hull metal?
No, it's made of sorewood,
Oh.
which is a type of wood made from a tree that is naturally buoyant and lighter than air because of its own magical properties.
I see.
hey, Mr. Homunculus, can you just hold on the scratching away the strut? Just talking over here.
These are the noises this thing is making?
No, that was messed up.
Okay.
It ran to the end and it auto played. So it's supposed to be just doing this. More giggles.
So I think that's a fair plan for the next time it shows up. I'm assuming nobody here has any dirt to bury the thing in. Oh, I didn't bring any. And if that doesn't work, I'm just going to invite it to take over my body so it can live again.
What? No. You mad?
Actually, it's a trick. But I was thinking that if it inhabits my body, then you can just kill me and kill it. You know, or maybe it inhabits my body and then you can actually destroy the doll and then it can't go to the doll anymore.
I'm not going to kill you.
Not too crazy about that plan.
That was plan E or F or whatever we're up to now.
Seen too many horror plays, Eivar.
In all the horror I've seen, only the virgins are going to survive. So good news, Marthow.
I'll be the first to pass.
Heroism must have worn off.
Yes, it did. It's only a minute spell.
Okay, so we're gonna try and give it a proper burial.
Yep. That's the best plan I got.
It's a good plan. We just need to figure out what the proper burial is, given that we don't have 6 feet of ground.
We will make do with the prayers. You know,
All right.
also, it might not even be the sovereign host worshiping. I don't know what they worship up here. So, might not like those prayers at all.
Alrighty then. So who's gonna lead the prayers?
Well, I'm the one who remembers it, so I assume that's me.
All right.
So we all join hands.
So direct everybody in what the
Hands?
rites look like.
First,
So we all join hands.
first, when the doll comes back, I'll go and I'll get like sheets off of one of the beds or one of the hammocks or something, and carefully wrap it up so that it looks like attractive, like a nice little gift. And then we will set it down, go outside again, under the sky, and then set it down and take a little bit of more cloth and put around it as kindling. But then I will begin to, I don't know what the prayers would actually be for the sovereign host, but I will begin to sort of recite the equivalent of, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death around this thing. And then I will make sure I actually even have something that can respectfully light something on fire. Yes, I do. So I will then take out my tinderbox, keep chipping away until I can get that thing lit, and then stand up again and continue to say prayers and wish it a good and eternal, hopefully eternal rest.
So as you're beginning, your focus is completely on the prayer work. And so to make sure that you don't make a mistake, give me a religion check.
I'm going to spend an action point. It's a 22.
All right. So you manage to begin the rites and recite them flawlessly, but as you do, the wind begins to pick up and swirl around, causing the thing to move. And with a sudden jolt, it seems as if it's going to potentially fly off the boat. And so, Marthow, give me an acrobatics or athletics check.
All right, that's a 20, not natural.
All right, you're able to catch it before it goes away and pin it down. And then, as that is beginning to happen, you hear Elmorn, you hear sort of a hum of power, as if it's a resistance that's building up, trying to fight whatever it is that Eivar is trying to do with the rites. And it seems as if it's going to it's building to a crescendo. And when it does, you have a sense that it's going to do something that will disrupt the ceremony that Eivar is trying to perform. And so you have an opportunity to intercede. And so give me an idea of how you would intercede.
I cast protection from good and evil on Eivar.
Describe how that spell is cast.
I'm assuming that this power, that is building up, is of an undead or unholy nature. So I place my one arm remaining on Ivar's little head as he's reciting the rites. and concentrate all of my power into shielding him from whatever is coming.
Okay. And this manages to succeed in rebuffing the energies that are trying to concentrate themselves to disrupting the ritual. And so with that, you hear the laughing suddenly stop, and instead it turns to crying. And once again, the creature starts yelling, "No fair, no fair." But this time, the homunculus is actually stomping through the deck. You can see it. It's no longer by the strut. Two of the struts are pretty severely structurally weakened. But because you still have three others, the elemental ring is able to sustain itself, at least for now. But this homunculus thing made up of Elmorn's arm, the flesh of Marthow's face and neck, and eyeballs ripped from Eivar, begins stomping up and down, saying, "No fair, no fair." And then on the final stomp, it seems to shudder and fall to pieces. The flesh from Eivar falling to the ground, the remains of Elmorn's arm falling in pieces, and the eyes dropping and rolling across the deck to Eivar's feet.
Damn it. That was my good arm.
In a moment, the appendages seem to return to normal, and Elmorn, your arm comes back, the flesh around Marthow's face comes back, and the points of flesh where Eivar's eyes were ripped out return, and the eyes that cover Eivar's body seem to seal and fade away. But each of you is left with some kind of scar of this night. Even though your body parts have returned and you seem to be functional, there's something that lingers from this encounter that you can't shake. It is going to follow you the rest of your days as an adventurer. Something that you can't ever get rid of, forget. And it's up to you to figure out exactly what that is and how that might affect your character.
Okay.
All right.
I thought the little girl's laughter sounded like grace. It haunts me.
Okay. Part of it must be physical too.
And I have a scar on my neck from the slash.
All right. You guys don't have to develop them right now either. You can send me an email with it. But yeah, and then once that happens, everybody snaps out of it. Winfrey is freaking out that he has 3 crewmates that are dead. Those weren't the only crewmates. Those were just the ones that you guys saw. And he's questioning everybody about what happened. And Brevin wakes up with a couple of fresh wounds upon his face. And so there's lots of questions to be had, lots of discussion around exactly what happened, especially since the only 3 that seems to know anything are you guys. And that concludes our session for the evening.
I mean, I will say to the captain, the loss of your men is tragic, but so do you think we can get to our destination with just 3 struts? Because that monster clawed the crap out of it. I'd hate to crash.
Well, I'll see what I can do. I do have some versing in engineering, and I can try to whip up some kind of emergency release for some of that structural damage. But we'll just have to wait and see if we can get ourselves to Korth, where I believe there are people in my house that are able to adjust some of the damages that seem to have been acquired along this journey.
I would hate to crash and down now after we did all that.
So, what are people's thoughts?
I thought that was great.
It was good. I didn't know. At times I just didn't know what to do. Like I keep killing this doll. I just wasn't. Sometimes I just wasn't sure where to go.
Right, and I think with things like that, some level of frustration is part of it. Like I felt a little. There was a moment there when I was almost going to yell at the homunculus, but I can keep shooting you with arrows. That's all I do. I'm an archer. I can shoot you more arrows. I don't have any spells in reserve to cast at you. But I mean, that is sort of part of it, is not knowing how to save yourself.
Yes.
I thought it worked out really well. It was a really good session.
I'm glad that you guys think so. I really thought it was going to be shocking too, with the level of gore that you guys were personally going to suffer for your characters. I didn't know how you guys were going to react, especially Elmorn losing your arm.
I didn't expect to lose my arm, but I'm glad it's back. You.
One little character note that I fudged on, I think, is technically when the doll, when I'm doing the ritual and the doll started to throw away, I did think to myself, if I'm really going to play this in character, it's super late, but if I'm really going to play this in character, I'm supernaturally irritable, so I should have been, oh, fuck this! The whole ritual.
Yeah, so the notes I sent you guys was Eivar was going to be super irritable, Marthow was going to be super depressed and hopeless, and Elmorn was going to be terrified, but the natural 20 helped him.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you, Mike, during the session, I kept thinking to myself, you never cease to impress me with how, disgusting you can get with this stuff. You just have a sick mind.
Monday night at my peak disgustedness.
And I love it.
Yeah, I was wondering what you guys thought about the pictures and the descriptions that I was throwing in there.
Yeah, I thought the pictures worked really well. The sound effects worked really well. The descriptions, I felt like Eivar got off easy with extra eyes, and then 2 of the extra eyes popped out and went to the thing. I was expecting you to see my actual eyes have popped out and gone to that thing. That would have disturbed me even more.
Yeah, I if you weren't an archer and that was you needed your eyes, that's what I would have done. Yeah.
So you're saying a paladin doesn't use an arm? Especially one that wields 2-handed weapons?
Yeah, because you could still divine smite through your boot.
Divine smite a fetus.
Yeah.
Curb stomp a fetus.
But yeah, thing I really want you guys to remember, especially because you guys have those action points. Things that you guys I throw at you are not always going to be able to be solved with brute force, and use those action points to be creative. You may not have specific powers defined in such a way by rules of 5e, but those action points give you flexibility. So remember to think outside the box and use them.
Yeah.
Especially when you try burning something 5 times and it still doesn't work.
I think if you had done a fourth ray of fire, it would have finally done it permanently. It just had so many resistances to that particular cantrip.
That's what I was thinking.
All right.
Yeah.
A good session, though. I will. Are we meeting up next week?
Yep, that's the plan. And next week we should actually be in Korth, and you guys should be finding your way to the Tower of the 12. Freeing yourself of Brevin forever.
Is there any remains of the doll or the fetus?
Yeah, I mean, you guys still have it. You just completed the kind of the burial rites. So, but it's whatever energies were there anchoring the spirit to the doll are no longer there.
Well, Eivar lit it up on fire, so I'm asking if there's anything left.
Just ash. Maybe one of the hands or feet is charred up and but still there.
I take a hand, since it took mine.
Fair enough.
No, I want to take it because I want the Tower of the 12 guys to look at it. Like,
Okay.
how the fuck did all this happen?
Hey, maybe your like physical remnant could be like you have a tiny little doll arm.
No. Don't give Mike ideas.
Well, it's something you're gonna come up with. Yeah, I'll think mine through and I'll shoot you an email about it.
All right. Sounds good.
Talk to you later.
All right. Take care, everyone.
See ya.
So yeah.